One block at Baalbek weighs 1,650 tons. That's roughly as much as 4 blue whales. It was cut from bedrock, shaped, nearly finished, and then abandoned exactly where it was carved. Nobody knows why, and nobody has fully explained how anyone planned to move it in the first place. Baalbek sits in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, where a Roman temple complex was built directly on top of a foundation platform assembled from megaliths that predate the Romans by centuries. The 3 largest of these, known together as the trilithon, weigh roughly 800 tons each. The official theory for how they got there is straightforward: rope, timber sledges, and manpower dragged from a quarry 800 meters away. That theory works for most of what we find in the ancient world. Over the next 10 minutes, we're going to test it against the actual numbers, and then look at the stone that broke it completely, still sitting in the quarry where it was left. We've saved the biggest number for last, the block that makes the trilithon look conservative. Stay with us. Let's start with what the official theory gets right, because it gets a lot right. Ancient builders across multiple civilizations demonstrably moved enormous stones using rope and sledge systems. That's not in dispute. Egyptian tomb paintings from roughly 1900 BCE show exactly this method in use, and modern physicists have tested it directly. In 2014, a team led by physicist Daniel Bohn at the University of Amsterdam published research in Physical Review Letters showing that wetting the sand in front of a sledge cuts friction by roughly half, making stones that should require twice the workforce movable with far fewer people. It's a genuinely elegant piece of experimental archaeology, and it holds up. Here's where it stops holding up. Bohn's experiments and the historical examples they explain involve loads in the range of tens of tons. Large, but nowhere close to Baalbek scale. French archaeologist and engineer Jean-Pierre Adam calculated what the sledge and rope method would actually require to move an 800-ton block, roughly 40,000 workers pulling in exact coordination. That's not a workforce problem, it's a geometry problem. At that scale, there simply isn't room around the stone for that many people to pull without standing on top of each other. The next section of this video is going to make even that number look small. Adam doesn't propose an alternative supernatural explanation. He's clear that his calculation shows the accepted method breaking down, not that the stone is unexplainable. His position, published in his study of Baalbek's megaliths, is that whatever technique moved these blocks, it wasn't a simple scaled-up version of the sledge and sand method that works everywhere else. Something about the method itself is missing from the record, not the physics. And there's a second, quieter voice in this debate worth naming fairly. Some structural engineers who've reviewed Adam's numbers argue his estimate assumes a single continuous pull rather than a staged system, moving the stone in short bursts, resetting the pull team between each one. That would lower the peak manpower requirement substantially. It's a reasonable objection, but it still doesn't produce physical evidence at the site. No worn stone channels, no post holes, nothing in the quarry floor that would show repeated staged pulls ever happened. Which brings us to the quarry itself, and the discovery that changed how researchers think about this site entirely. For most of the 20th century, the story of Baalbek's quarry ended with the trilithon. Then, in 2014, a joint German and Lebanese excavation team clearing debris in the same quarry found a 4th megalith, still partially buried, that dwarfed everything previously measured at the site. Preliminary calculations put its weight at around 1,650 tons, nearly double the trilithon blocks, and heavier than almost any single stone ever moved in the ancient world, anywhere. This stone was never extracted. It's still lying in the bedrock, connected to the quarry floor on one side, exactly as it was left. And that detail matters more than the tonnage itself. If ancient engineers had a working method that scaled to 800 tons, the discovery of this stone raises an uncomfortable question. Were they simply confident enough in that method to attempt something even larger? Or did they start cutting it, run the numbers themselves in whatever form ancient engineers ran numbers, and stop? There's no inscription, no record, no explanation left behind. The stone itself is the only evidence, and it doesn't say which. What's striking about Baalbek isn't the existence of one impossible number. It's that the site produces a bigger one every time researchers look closer. 800 tons breaks the manpower math. 1,650 tons was apparently ambitious enough that whoever was cutting it walked away. That's not a single unexplained structure. That's a civilization running directly into the edge of what its own methods could do. And the edge keeps moving every time we find another stone. If you think the staged pull theory closes this gap, or if you know of physical evidence at the site that we didn't cover here, we want to hear it. The comments section is open. If you want to go further, we've put together a complete guide covering 50 ancient discoveries that science still hasn't explained. Every site, every mystery, every competing theory, with sources, link is in the description. And if today's video was useful, subscribe. We publish a new ancient mystery every week.